evolution is not done overnight. It's an infinite process. And because of the ego, we all have things, habits, or cycles that don't necessarily align with our unique individual purpose. Now, I'm not going to go into good or bad because what may be good for some is bad for others. What some may have a problem with, others may be able to naturally balance. Say, for example, take take something that is naturally accepted, golfing, right? And then take drinking alcohol, okay? Now let's give the golfer an addictive personality, right? And the drinker, let's say that they have this balance. Well, for example, if the golfer is married, his wife and kids may be complaining, or he or she rather, wife and kids or husband and kids may be complaining that they're not there enough at the house or spending enough time with the family because they're always out golfing. And then you take the drinker who likes to drink socially with their wives or their husbands, and it enhances the relationship between the two because they're doing something that they both enjoy, right? And so for some, what they call an addiction, for others may not be. It depends on the personality, right? Now, until we reach the point where our ego dies, we're going to be dealing with these habits. And some of the things I learned in my spiritual journey was self-acceptance. Having the courage to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's my version that I say of the serenity prayer, if you will. And so some of the things that I did was I had to identify the habit and its impact on others, right? For example, if I'm doing this, what could I be doing that's more productive, right? If I did this less, how could that positively affect my life, right? Or is this affecting my family? What am I really getting out of this, right? Is this really my identity? Do I really say, what I'm known for doing, this certain habit? Is it me? Or is it something that I've been programmed over the course of my life to believe is attached to my identity, right? I've had to identify the triggers of what causing that, any underlying childhood experiences or, other things that may be thrown in that could trigger the response in my day-to-day life and could negatively impact my life in the present. And so those are some of the things that you have to deal with. First of all is self-acceptance. Accept yourself and anything that you're working on, right? Or working on changing. That is the key to being better. Now, when trying to address the habit, don't focus on what is lost by replacing the habit or balancing the habit, but what is gained, right? It's okay to take baby steps, when you're trying to balance or replace these actions. Notice I'm saying not necessarily stop, right? Because that infers good or bad. Your spiritual journey will let you know what is conducive to your evolution and what is not. That's another thing I learned in my process. Another thing I learned, you can pick yourself up and keep going if you fail. Failure is part of the learning process, right? Addiction doesn't have time intervals rather, but a measure of control. There's some that say, oh yeah, you're an addict if you quit something, for a year, and a month you're doing it, you're still an addict. Well, I don't agree with that. And lastly, pat yourself on the back for any little improvements, big or small.